right, welcome everyone. I have a little bit of feed. All right, I think we're good now. Welcome everyone to day 2 of our Boo Bash week for our Summerween series. This is going to be a fun day. We are going to be using 2 stamp and cut sets from Hero Arts. And we're going to create 4 or 5 cards today. So let's get started. All right, so I'm just going to switch my camera around and let's see if I can do this. Yes. All right. Okay. So we are going to do, like I said, 4 or 5 cards using the following 2 stamp and cut sets from Hero Arts. All right. So the first one I'm going to, let me get my glasses on. This one is called Beach Booze. All right. Stamp and cut. We've got all the little ghosts doing all the beachy things in the pool, floating, having a little pool party. We've got the palm tree. We've got the sand castle. We've got the lovely little flower power ghost here. And then all the summer accessories, the sand pail, the drinks, the sunglasses, the ice cream, the hat. Even a little pumpkin jack-o'-lantern beach ball, which I love. All right. So we're going to talk about that and use that on a variety of cards today. And then we're going to pair it up with this one here. And I think if you're going to take one, get them both, because this one has all the sentiments on there. This one's got all the imagery. So this is called Ghoul Summer Stamp and Cut. Again, it's a stamp and die set. And it's going to have all those great little sayings that are going to work really well for Summerween. It's a ghoul summer. Ghouls just want to have sun. We all scream for Summerween. Happy Summerween and a few others. All right. You also got the flamingos that are skeletons, which I just think are just super cute. And then you have a few other things in here as well. So both of these are stamp and cuts. All right. That's the way you can purchase them. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I already took the liberty of stamping and die cutting these little elements. I've also colored them. All right, just so that we could get through the process of these cards in a quicker way. All right, so I will refer back to these when I need to, but let's make some quick and simple cards for our Boo Bash week. All right, so. All right, card number 1. So for this one here, I just took little elements, and I'm just going to grab my little tray here. I took little elements here from the stamp set. So we've got the little palm tree, and I just stamped and die cut these out ahead of time. All right, I've used white cardstock. I used 110 Nina solar white cardstock. I like using that when I am using die cuts or having die cuts like this because of the heaviness of the paper. It just creates them really stable. All right, so and I went in and just colored them with my alcohol ink markers. Now this coloring is really easy to do. I did do shading. You don't need to do shading. They're very simple images to color. I kept the colors really soft as well. All right, I kept them with nice soft pastel colors, perfect for summer. And I didn't want to do those harsh colors for Halloween, like those dark purples and oranges and blacks. I wanted to keep it really summery. So pastel colors, so very light. So there's my little palm tree. We've got our little ghost floating in the inner tube there. So again, I've gone ahead and colored that one. Just some really quick, simple, lots of white in here. I did do a little bit of shading on the ghost with a very, 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 very pale blue. You can see it just ever so slightly on there. So we have the floating ghost. I also did a little hat for our little ghost here. So got to have the little sun hat in on there. And then one of the things from the Ghoul Summer, ghouls just want to have sun. All right, that is what I have for this one. All right, now to prep here, I have my card front, which this is, I forget the color of this one now. Waterfall, I think. I think I forgot this yesterday. Yeah, Waterfall from Spellbinders is 110 pounds. That's going to be our card front. And then I cut a piece that is a Seaside, which is a little bit lighter, a 1/4 inch shorter. All right, so this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. Now we're going to mat this together. So we have that nice kind of summery kind of background, but I do want to add a little texture in the background. So I want to really show you a really quick and easy technique. If you don't have an embossing folder is always my go-to to create texture in the back, but sometimes I don't have the appropriate kind of design or something that, I feel works really well with my elements. And so this is just a quick and simple way to add texture. Ooh, so I put my cardboard away. All right, so this is just a really quick and simple way to add a little texture in the background. Like I said, normally I would use an embossing folder, but I don't have something that coordinates really nicely with this. So I am just going to add some score lines. All right. So I'm going to use my scoring tool here. Now, normally when the scoring tool here, when I use it, it will score the line into the paper, which is fine by me. If you want the score line to pop up, so be more of an embossed look, then flip it over to the back side and then do your score line. So it's completely up to you. I'm working on the good side, so my score lines are going to be pushed in. And you could do like vertical, you could do horizontal, you can do both. All right, you can create some plaid texture on here. It's just really just a great way to add texture in the background. All right, so this is 5 1/4. So I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. All right, so I'm just going to line this up. Now make sure when you do this, if you have a scoring tool that is attached to your trimmer, and I speak from experience, everyone, to make sure you're using the score blade and not the cutting blade when you're doing this. All right. So many a times when I've used the cutting blade when I'm supposed to be scoring. So I like to go back and forth a few times to create that first score line. All right. And then we're just going to go in increments of 3/4 of an inch. All right. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't figure out my measurements first before I move it. All right, so that is 3, 2 1/4, 1 1/2, and then 3/4. So that worked out evenly on my 5 1/4 panel. So I'm just gonna go give you those measurements because I was just doing them to myself. So I put it in landscape. All right, so this is 5 1/4, and then I'm scoring at every quarter or 3/4 of an inch. All right, so 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 1/2, and then 2 1/4, and then 3 3 3/4, and then 4 1/2. All right, so every quarter inch. All right, so 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, and that will be your last one. And it just creates this little lined texture on the background. Really simple to do. And again, if you wanted to have the lines the other way, all right, so you can go the debossed or the embossed, completely up to you. I like the debossed look. It just looks a little cleaner to me. So that's what I'm going to use. Just a great way to add texture. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mount this now onto my card front, which is that waterfall. And I'm just going to use glue for this. All right, so we're just going to center this in as best we can. All right. All right, so there is our card front. We've got a little texture in the background. Love it. All right, now we're just going to take our elements here. All right, so I like to dry fit things first. All right, so we've got our little palm tree. We've got our little floaty. And then we're going to put the hat on our little ghost here. And then let's just put our little ghouls just want to have fun. All right. That is as easy. I mean, these are simple cards. They're effective. And you don't need to do a whole lot. We want these little ghosts in their inner tubes and such to be the center of attention. So we don't have to do much. I think that's just a great and a simple card, but very effective. All right. I do want to pop this guy up. All right. I'm going to put the palm tree down flat though. All right. So let's start with that. So I'm just going to glue that down. And let's position it right about there. All right, then I'm going to take my little ghost and we're going to pop it up with some foam adhesive. So I'm just going to grab my foam here and attach it. Oop, my little palm tree sticking up. All right, so let's go ahead and have our little floaty. All right, there we go. All right, let's put the little hat on. Now the hat I want popped up on top. So I am actually going to put a pop dot, which kind of goes behind the ghost heads there. And then I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to put another foam adhesive right on top of that. So we're going to get some nice dimension on here. And then we're going to stick the hat on. So, oop. All right, so we've got our little bucket hat on, and then I'm just going to kind of bend the edges to give it a little bit of curvature there. We're going to get the little shadowing on there, which makes it look a little bit more realistic. All right, so we have that. And then I think, now I'm changing my mind. Yeah, we're going to pop this up. All right, ghouls just want to have sun. And then to finish this off, I think maybe just a few maybe gems would be great on here. I'll do that off camera and then take pictures, but quick and simple. Look how fun that is, right? Like, doesn't that just make you smile? Just love it. All right, so there is that one. First card done. Easy peasy. All right, so let's take it up a notch now. All right, so I am going to just leave them there. I'm going to grab my next set here. All right, so this one here, we're going to use some fun die cuts to create our card base. Again, I have the palm tree. This one I took the little a little pool party one. All right, so again, I've colored that ahead of time. And then I have two sayings on this one. It's a Ghoul Summer, and I have Happy Summerween. All right, so the base of this now I've used, let me grab the die, one of my favorites, as you know, for those that do follow me, I use this postage one from Spellbinders all the time. And that is called Spellbinders Nested Postage Label and Tag. What I love about this one is you're going to get that postage edge, and then alternately, you are going to get the stitched inside piece for each of them. All right. So each of the postage edge, you're going to get a stitched one so that you can layer on top to create that real postage look. All right. So this will be my card base. I love making shaped cards. I'm going to be making a shaped cards from one of our last cards. Now I could actually just mount this on an A2 card. I'm just grabbing one here. All right. And this pink edge goes like edge to edge. All right. So you could have a little white there, or you could cut another of this larger postage in white and then make it into a shaped card, which I'll show you at the very end. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll show you at the end. So you have options with these kind of layering specialized dies. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue our little, this one is the same color. Seaside. All right, this is Seaside. And then the pink that I used, I told you I would tell you, is it blush? No, I think it is Bellini. All right, so Seaside and Bellini, which is a really nice mixture of colors. And I then use those same colors to kind of color the elements, a little pool party. All right, so the pool is done in the same colors. And again, I just use my alcohol ink markers, but you use what you have in your stash. All right, I like using alcohol ink markers because you don't get the lines, when you color with markers. That is what I really like using, and it's an easy color. All right, so All right, so we have this. All right, let's put our elements on there. Again, I'm not going to worry about texture. Oh, you know what? I might splatter this. Let's splatter this. I should have, hang on, because I use glue. Can I take this off? Yes. All right. Is it still wet enough? Yes, I think I said. I'm going to splatter this before I glue that down. So let me just grab, let's go with white splatter. So I have my Japanese watercolor, and I love this. This is watercolor. It is highly pigmented, and we absolutely love this one. This. All right, so let me get my spritz bottle, which is not where it's supposed to be. Okay, we're gonna spritz it. I'm just gonna grab this. This is gonna add way too much water. Well, maybe not. Okay. All right, so you're going to spritz your watercolor puck here with water and just let it sit there. I'm just using my brush to kind of work it to grab that watercolor and start liquefying it. All right. I don't want it too runny. I want to have some substance too. All right, so we're good now. All right, so it's a nice thick consistency. All right, so the watercolor, once you're done with it, just leave the lid off, let it dry. It's fine. You want all that water to evaporate. You're good to go. It's watercolor. All right, so, okay, so I'm going to just take my paintbrush. I've loaded it up, and now I'm going to tap, and things are supposed to come off here, and it's not. I'm afraid I'm going to have, oh, there we go. Okay, I've got enough there. All right, so I'm just going to leave that off now to this to the side there, and then I'm just going to let my paintbrush dry. So because I have a dedicated paintbrush for all my watercolors of these Japanese watercolors, so I just let that dry, and then when the water hits it, it just reactivates that brush because it is watercolor. I would normally not do that with acrylic paints and such because you'll ruin your brushes, but because I use that brush particularly just for the white, I just let it dry. All right. So because I have this now, I'm going to heat this up with some heat from the heat tool, which I just need to adjust my cord here. Okay. I got some big globs on here. So this might take a little bit to dry as my paintbrush rolls off. Oh. Usually this watercolor does not take that long to dry, but because I have big globs, it's going to take a little bit longer. You want to keep your heat tool moving. Don't keep it in one spot. You don't want your watercolor bubbling. All right, I bubbled some of mine, but that's okay. I want this getting dry. Okay. All right, so we've got some lovely white splatter on there. Hopefully the camera can pick that up just to create some texture in the background. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add our elements here. So all right, so we've got our little pool party. Again, I love this little palm tree, so we're going to add that little palm tree. So we're going to have that, and then I'm going to have Happy Summerween down at the bottom here, and then It's a Ghoul Summer in this area. All right, so you can see our scenery, really easy to do and to put together, and you don't need a lot more than that. All right, so again, I'm going to glue down the palm tree. I'm going to pop up everything else. All right, so I figured out my placement there, so let's go ahead, grab our palm tree. Let's add a little bit of glue behind there. And let's go ahead and stick that down. All right, our little pool party. We're going to go ahead and pop this up. So I'm going to grab some foam adhesive and stick it behind. All right, and I am going to overlap this tree. All right, so I'm going to center our little pool party friends from left to right. So that little tree, the palm tree, is kind of coming in from behind them. All right, then our Happy Summerween, we're going to go ahead and pop this now. I think I'm just going to cut some. I don't know where my strips are offhand, so I'm just going to cut some larger foam into tiny little strips here. All right. Excuse me. All right, and we're, like I said, we're going to put this kind of underneath that little pool. And hopefully that's straight. And then It's a Ghoul Summer, we're going to pop up as well. And we're just going to kind of shift it a little bit to the left-hand side. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and glue this back on our little postage stamp. Now that we splattered and decorated it. All right, I just want to make sure there's pressure on there to glue that all down. And look how cute that is. All right, again, very effective. All right, the splatter just adds a little bit of texture on the background. We've used a nice layered die cut to give it some shape. And just how fun is that? All right, so there is that one. All right, so again, the pool and this one has come from the Beach Booze, and then the sentiments are coming from the Ghoul Summer. All right, so number 2 done. Okay, we're going to now, this is one I love. All right, this one is all from the Ghoul Summer. It is the flamingo skeletons. All right, look how awesome that is. So there is 2 skeleton flamingos, one facing the left and one facing the right. We're going to use both of them on this card because why not? And I just used another nesting die. I love nesting dies. I think they're investment pieces because they're ones that you're going to go to over and over and over again. So like the postage layers one that I go to all the time, I also use this one all the time. Now this one, oh, I forget the name of this. Scalloped frame with bow. I think that's what it is. I don't have it labeled. I apologize. But I love this one. Now this one came out at Christmas time because it has a bell and a bow, and it's got this great layering set. You've got that scalloped edge, then you have a plain rectangle with rounded corners, and then 2 that have scalped, or not, 2 that have stitching on there. And it's just again, I use those outside frames all the time. And this one here, the bow and the bell, I mean, came out at Christmas time, but it's a good one to make silver anniversary, golden anniversaries, wedding as well, because they're a beautiful bell. All right. So just a really great, investment piece. So what I did is I have a white card front. I cut that scalloped out of the black. Then I did the next one down in white. I like this kind of white, black, and pink look. Then the first stitched panel I did in a soft pink, which again, I will tell you that color is chiffon. It's like a peachy pink. It's really pretty, kind of the color of flamingos. And then I did a vellum piece. Now, my intentions were that I think I would like to do something special on this. So what was I thinking? I think I wanted to do better press on here. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to, this is an old one. This is a spiderweb's background, but let's go ahead and press that onto there just to give it a little bit of interest in there. All right. So I'm just giving you kind of different ways that you can create texture in the background for these simple imagery. All right. So we're going to use that. And I'm just grabbing my better press. And again, if you don't have a better press, no worries. I mean, again, I've given you splattering you could put in the background. You could do score lines. You could do embossing. I am choosing to do this. And I'm going to do this on the pink. So I'm going to get this lined up as best I can. Okay, and let's go ahead. I'm going to find my black ink. Okay, I don't know where my black better press ink, so I'm going to use the next best thing, which might be actually really fun. So Brilliance ink, it comes in silver, white, black, and gold. And they're a metallic ink, but they press beautifully. So I'm going to use this one, which is the black graphite. So it's got a bit of a shimmer to it. So I'm going to go ahead and ink. I don't have to do the outsides. I don't know why I'm doing the outsides. I just need the inside part, because we're just doing a little panel. Okay, so that is inked up, and now let's go ahead and press this. Just getting my die cut machine out here. I like using my manual die cut for the better press. I find my electronic one gives a little too much pressure, so that's a me thing. All right, and look at that. That is gorgeous. Look at that. I love this one because of the fine details on it. That spider web is just a really great background for that. Okay, I'm going to clean that up. Actually, I think I'll be using that again. So not today, but I think on Friday. All right, so there is that. There's that. Now we don't see too much of that shimmer because it's such a fine line on there, but I love that. All right, so it's going to work really well with our flamingo, our skeleton flamingos. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this all together. Now this is going to break up that spider web just a tad bit, all right? So we're gonna actually put that on, but I'm not gonna put it on quite yet. I wanna see where my flamingos are going to go, because you know when you have to adhere vellum to anything, usually the adhesive shows through. There is vellum adhesive, but it all depends on what paper you're using. So I'm just gonna wait to put that on. I'm gonna put my flamingos and then decide where I'm gonna put my adhesive, all right? So, but I am going to go ahead and attach this panel to the white panel. And I am using liquid glue because I like to shimmy things, all right? If I don't get it down on the right the first time, at least I have a few seconds to shimmy it. Excuse me. All right, and I think I'm going to pop this onto the scallop. Don't need to, but I like dimensions, so okay, let's pop this up. I'm sorry, I like to use lots of foam adhesive, so all right, so this is now going to get centered. Okay, looks good. And then we'll glue this onto our card front. Lots of layers, but easy layers. And this is just going to get centered in. I love this color combination of this kind of salmony pink with the black and the white. All right, so there is our spider web in the background. Oh, that's not straight at all, is it? I can see that on camera. Okay, something is a little wonky here, I think. I think it's my white piece. So let me just frame this up. I think it's this top. Yep. That is, oh, I think it's a little wonky all over the place. Let me just grab another panel. This one's a little wonky too, but we can fix this one. Okay. Try that again. All right, that is much better. That is now nice and straight. All right, so there is our card front. And now I'm going to get my little vellum piece here. And let's pop these little skeletons up. So I'm just going to put foam adhesive on the body and on the head on both of those. All right, and we're going to place them in the center here. All right, so I think that's good. So we're going to be just slightly I'm going to put them a little bit closer to the top because we want to put the sentiment at the bottom. And I'm kind of lining up their back ends with the stitching. All right, so their kind of beaks are just meeting in the center there. All right. All right, so now I can go ahead and add glue. So I can put glue kind of in the areas where the flamingos are. All right, so you can see where I put it because we won't see that through there. And now we can attach our vellum. And it just mutes that spider web and creates, like, it truly makes it into the background there. The spider web is not, taking away from our little flamingos. Now we've just muted it a little bit in the background, but it's still there. All right, so it's a really nice look. All right, now we're going to take our little sentiments here. Again, we're going to put little strips on there and pop it up. So I'm just going to use my larger foam adhesive squares here and then just cut them into strips and use them that way. Okay, and then this one says celebrate your inner flamingo. All right, so I think this would be a great birthday card for anyone that has that loves flamingos, that's down in the southern states, maybe where there are flamingos, or has a birthday that is around Halloween. All right, I just think it'd be cute All right, so there's that. And I think maybe a few little black pearls on here would be awesome. All right, so there is card number 3. All right, so we've done a little better press background on there, and it works so well. Love it. Okay, let's put that to the side, and let's continue on. We've got 5 cards to do here. Okay, this next one, we're going to create a little scenery. Again, using majority of the imagery from our Beach Booze set here. All right, now I want to talk about these 2 little ghosts here. All right, so you will see they're kind of a side profile ghost with their little arms. What I love about this arm is that there is a die that you can put along the arm to open that arm up so you can make him carry things. All right, so he could carry his ice cream cone, he could carry his little drink, the pail, the shovel, even the hat you could put in there, even the little what are these, the little boys, the little swimming, you can have that, the little inner tube there. So, but there is a little way of doing this, and I really wanted to talk about this so that you are in the know, because the first time I did it, I had stamped him, then I put the little die, and I'm going to just flip this around. This is a little die, and this is a little die. So whichever one coordinates, because there's a left ghost and there's a right ghost. Just like these dies, there's be a right arm and a left arm. So I stamped it first and then I put it on, and it's really hard to line it up. So my tip to you is to take your piece of whatever cardstock you're using, and I'm assuming it would be white unless you're doing colored ghosts. Let me just grab a piece here. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your white cardstock, you're going to take your die, and place it down, okay, on there. Now, I just kind of look at the curvature and the angle that this is, and I kind of position it like that. And then I would tape that down. I'm not going to tape it down. I'm going to do this to show you, all right? So I'm going to cut. So there's no stamp on here. We're just doing that initial die cut. So you want to make sure you have enough room to stamp your ghost. And this is how you're going to get like kind of perfect alignment on his little arm. So I'm going to die cut that. And then don't lose that die. All right, so I have the little arm now die cut. And now you're going to take the stamp, and now you're going to align it over top. And it's easy to align because your stamps are clear. All right, so I'm going to grab my little stamping platform here. And we're going to grab the coordinating ghost. And now I can take this, and now you're just going to line that right up. All right, you will see the cut line, and you will be able to line up that little arm, no problem. And now I can stamp him or her. All right, and now we have the little detail for the arm, really nicely cut in that little the cut area, all right, or stamped in the area. So that is my little tip to you, and then you can take the die cut to cut out the ghost, and he will be now what you need. All right, so there's my little tip on that. Don't try to line up the die after you stamp it, all right? Just learn from my experience. It's not easy. So die cut the little arm first, then stamp, and then you can die cut the whole body. I know it's an extra step, but it's worth it, all right? Because you're going to get it nicely lined up. Okay, so that's how you do that. So I'm just going to put that to the side. All right, let's create this. So for this one here, we have the little, I love this, little jack-o'-lantern beach ball. I did the ghost that's kind of facing to the right-hand side. I've got an ice cream cone. I've got that palm tree because I love it so much. I've got the word "Hey Boo," and that came from the sentiment set. And then I did sunglasses. We're going to put sunglasses on this little dude. He'll be so much fun. All right, so for this here, now I'm creating a kind of a scene. So Spellbinders has this great scenery die. Again, this is just another way to add interest in the background. There's lots of different scenery dyes out there. Hero Arts has them. La La Land, Lawn Fawn. There's so many different ones. I like this one because it has grass, it's got a rolling hill, and it's got clouds. All right. So this is Spellbinder's landscape edges, but like I said, there's so many different ones out there that you probably have one in your stash. But it's just great to create scenery. So I am starting with a mint green piece, and the reason why I chose mint because of the tree. I just thought it coordinated nicely. So that's going to be my card front. So from the landscape edges, I did a cloud edge, and this is going to go on. Oop, this is not straight by any means. I just used a scrap. This is going to go on the top of our card front. I just need to straighten this out because this is a wonky piece. All right, now we have a straight edge. Okay, so I think I'm going to pop this one up because why not? All right, and this is going to go along the top edge of my card front. And I just cut everything the same width at 4¼ All right, so there is our little clouds. All right, then I took a piece of fawn cardstock from Spellbinders, and I used the Rolling Hills one. So I had a piece that was 4¼ and I just placed it on there, and I just so when I did that, I got two pieces here that I can layer together. All right, so this one here, I just did that. I laid it closer to the bottom of the die, and then when you cut it, you get two rolling hills. So then I took this piece, I'm going to flip this upside down, and then I'm going to layer this one on here. So now we have Sandy Hills, all right? And that's going to go at the bottom of our piece here, all right? So the larger one I'm going to glue down, and then the smaller one I'm going to pop up. And they're both of them are going to get aligned to the bottom. All right, so now we've got some great texture in the background. We built a little scenery. We've got clouds and we've got our sandy hills. All right, now we're going to use our little elements. Now, before I go any further, let's glue our little sunglasses onto our ghosts because why not? Now, I should have had a sun die cut. That. All right, so let's just put these on. Look how cute they are. Stinking cute. I love it. All right. All right, and then I'm going to put the ice cream cone in his hand. So I'm just going to put a spot of glue behind there, and then I'm just going to pop open that little arm, all right, the little flap, and then just insert it in there. And then he's now holding that ice cream cone. I love that little interactive element. Brilliant on Hero Arts part. All right, so there is that. Okay, so let's build our scenery. So we're going to put our tree. We're going to put our hey boo. Okay, we're gonna put our little guy here and the beach ball. We'll have him kind of tucked behind here, and maybe Hey Boo will go here. Yeah, that will go there. All right, so there's our scenery. Super cute, super easy. All right, but adding those little die cut elements in the background really sets the mood, and it sets the scene, and it just makes it so much easier. All right, so let's glue these guys down. Debating whether I want him over here. All right, we're going to put him over there. All right, the ghost I'm going to pop up because why not? Okay, so he is hanging out on the sand here. And then Hey Boo, I'm going to pop up as well. All right. And there we go. Love it. If I can find a sun die, I will and have it tucking out from the clouds. I think that would be lovely because he does have his sunglasses on. So there is card number 4. All right, we're moving right along. All right, last card, guys. This is going to be a shaped card. Like I said, I was going to explain how to do a shaped card if you don't know. Oh, I got to put this little die back. Before I forget to, and then we lose him forever. Okay. Okay, so again, we're going to build a little scenery. I wanted to use all the pieces, all right? So this one, we're using the little ghost that is facing to the left. He's got a sand pail and his shovel. We've got the little life preserver. Again, that palm tree because I love it so much. And then I did the sand castle as well. From the Ghoul summer set, we all screamed for Summerween. And now we're going to make a shaped card, all right? So all right, so you need whenever you want to do a shaped card, and you could fold your paper and then place your die on there and just shift it down a little bit so that the fold is not shift it up a little bit, your die, so that let me just show you. I never do this because I don't like the way it finishes my paper. So, all right, so if this is my die here, and all right. Here's my card, Jace. Oh, it's not full. Okay. We're going to use this anyways. My fold is here. So if we wanted to take this and make this into a shaped card, then I would take my die and then I would push it up so that I see a little opening there. All right. So that's going to maintain the fold of our shaped card. Now, when you do go to die cut this, you are cutting cutting 2 sheets of cardstock that are stacked on top of one another, right? Because it's a folded card. What happens is I find that the back piece gets takes any pattern, indentations, cuts that your base plate has, and it roughs it up, and I don't think it's a very finished look. All right, so that's why I never do it this way. You can do it, that's fine, but I like doing it this way. And what I do is I take 2 pieces of white or whatever color you're using, and then cut that shape twice. And this is going to create our card. All right. Now, this obviously a shaped card, you don't want it to be up and down like this because there's not a flat edge for this to stand up on. All right. So I'm making this into a horizontal because there is a flat edge on this oval. Now, this oval is called the Essential Stylish Ovals from Spellbinders. I like this oval. It's a fat oval, and I like that it's got the straight edges on the side so I can do the shaped card. All right. So I have 2 of them. Both of them look awesome die cut. There's no like weird wonky indentations for my cutting plates on there. They're beautiful die cuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to get my scoring tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this into our scoring tool, and either 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch is completely up to you. But I use the lines on my guide here to make sure things are straight. I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. So this is going to be the top of my card, and I'm scoring 3/4 of an inch down. You can do 1 inch as well, but this one, I don't want to lose a lot of property on my card. So I'm just doing 3/4 of an inch. You could do 1/2 an inch, but I want to have some stability. And so 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch. So then you're going to go ahead and fold on that score line. And I like to fold back and forth. All right. So I'm going to score it with a bone folder, and I'm going to do both ways. So that is the mechanism that is going to bend open and close. All right. Once you have that, then you are going to put adhesive above that score line. I like using liquid glue because of the shimmying factor, right? If I don't get things lined up, I can shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. But basically, you're going to take that second shape and you're going to place it on top. All right. And then you want to make sure that everything lines up and shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. That is why I like to use the glue. Why am I having such a hard time lining this up? Oh, goodness. Okay, I got it. Okay. And then give it a little burnish and let that adhesive dry. All right, so there is our shaped card. And now because of the straight edge, it will stand up. So there's that. All right, so that's our shaped card. All right, let's build our little scenery on here. All right, so for this, I used, I want to say that's windy again. No, seaside. Seaside. And then I did fawn again. Because there's a sandcastle in there, I brought in that brown. And then I just chose layering pieces to layer on here, all right, or layering dies. So I just went one down in the fawn and then one down in the seaside, all right? And we're going to layer them on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so there is our card. All right, so just a unique looking card. I like this shape. Okay, so I wanted to build a scenery. I wanted to have a little not snow, sand. All right, so again, I took that landscape die that I used on my last one. I want to just walk you through this. All right, so I took a piece on the fawn and I cut this piece. And then I took the same shape or same size die that I used to cut the seaside from. And then I just layered that on so that I would get the perfect cut. All right. So again, this is this part here. That's where I trimmed it. And then I laid this over top to give me the same curvature of our oval. All right. So now this is going to fit exactly in there nicely. All right. So that's going to fit on there, same curvature. Just a little bit of sand at the bottom. Again, I'm using my liquid glue so I can shimmy this into place. All right, so there we have our little sand now. Okay, now we can build our scenery. Again, we're going to have the tree. We want our little sand castle. And then we're going to have our little ghost. I'm going to move the ghost over here. I'm going to put the little life preserver, I think, on the tree. Summerween, our little greeting. He's going to be carrying the pail, and then we'll put the shovel down. Something like that. All right, so we can see the fun little scene. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. Okay, so let's start. I got an idea of what I'm doing here, so let's start with the tree. And he's going down flat. And then we're going to just ground him to that sandy bottom. All right, our little life preserver. Let's pop him up on the tree. So he's attached to the tree. All right, so there is that. All right, then we're going to take the little pail and let's glue, put a little spot of glue, and then open his little arm up. And now he can be carrying our little pail. And we are going to pop him up. And then he's going to be kind of over here, walking towards his little sandcastle. We're going to pop up the sandcastle as well. And the sandcastle is going to go over here. And then our little shovel, again, we're going to pop that up, and we're going to have it kind of leaning against the sandcastle. I'm just going to put a spot of glue. There we go. And then finally, our little sentiment, we're going to pop this guy up as well. And let's make sure we have this straight. All right, and there is our fun little shaped card using this. All right, so that's 5 cards, guys, in less than an hour. Look at us go. All right, so let me just tidy up just a little bit here, just so that I can bring all the cards back to show you fun little ways to use these. And to create texture in the background, different ways to build up your sceneries. A variety of dies were used, and I've labeled them all or talked about them all. And then here we go. Look how cute these are. Those flamingos kill me. All right. So there we go. Look at how fun are those? Little ghosts in beach themes. Like seriously, sweetness overload. So that is it for our little beach booze and our Ghoul Summer Stampin' Cut sets from Hero Arts. Super fun for our Boo Bash. Happy Summerween, everyone. All right, we'll be back tomorrow at 12 noon. Tomorrow is Lawn Fawn release day, so that means there are brand new Halloween dies coming in from Lawn Fawn. So we're going to show you a fun, really cute interactive card using their brand new interactive die and pairing it with a cute little ghost. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to love this. So I'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon for our Boo Bash Summerween series. So until then, everyone, have yourself a great day. Bye.